Patriots love him. Leftists hate him. Nobody ignores him. It's the Charlie Kirk Show.
Okay, we'll be back with more. Check out oilfacts.com. But first, I want to remind you guys to email us, freedom@charliekirk.com, any of your feedback. Also, the second hour of this program today, we'll be taking your questions, members.charliekirk.com. If you are a member, you can ask us questions, members.charliekirk.com. I want to reiterate, I want to thank you guys for the overwhelming amount of emails that we received about the marijuana topic. It was interesting. Super, super positive. Really positive. freedom@charliekirk.com. So thank you guys for that. Secondly, we're going to have some amazing interviews that I'm doing this weekend that will be posted all throughout next week. Next week, I'll be giving 2 speeches. I'll be going to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and also Dallas, Texas. I might make a stop in Chicago for a very special mission that I'm not able to tell you about. Subscribe to the Charlie Kirk Show podcast page. Right now, we are, I think, 10 or 11 in Apple Podcasts. So let's get back in the top 10. We are right there with the big guys. In fact, you could make an argument we just crawled up one spot. So subscribe to the Charlie Kirk Show podcast page. You can do that by taking out your phone and typing in Charlie Kirk Show. Download a couple episodes. We'll be right back. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Email us, as always, freedom@charliekirk.com. Make sure you check out oilfacts.com. That is oilfacts.com. Continuing with us is Edward Kovacic from oilfacts.com. Edward, I want to take a step back here and just say, so you're a veteran of the oil industry. You started your oil business, Prairie Operating Company, which is traded on the NASDAQ during Joe Biden. How has running your oil business been different under President Trump versus Joe Biden?
Well, going back to when we started the company, everybody told us that we were crazy because we weren't going to need any more fossil fuels by 2030. So I was an absolute idiot for starting the company in Biden's America. Fast forward to today, and I think we've got a much more sober, true attitude coming out of the White House. We'd like to see some real policy changes as an industry to promote American energy over OPEC oil, because we are the largest manufacturing industry in the United States in terms of value. We employ over 10 million Americans, a lot of blue-collar workers, mostly blue-collar workers, earning 84% above private sector wages. So, we're big fans of this administration telling the truth about oil, but we need some help as an industry to really promote production in this country. Yeah.
So what does that look like? What would the ideal portfolio or sequencing of decisions look like?
Great question. I think that there's a lot that the administration can do with respect to federal lands and federal leasing. Where we are in Colorado, for instance, there's a significant amount of federal land. Yeah, and offshore and in Alaska. So that together with EPA policy on ozone and emissions that could really use a lot of work. And I think they're, working on it, but we are an impatient bunch and we'd love to see it all happen a little faster.
Yeah. So this pro-energy agenda is incredibly important. How much does this differentiate state by state? I mean, Colorado's a nightmare for a lot of different ways. The environmentalists have tried to get rid of exploration on the western slope. I don't know if they were successful, but they've tried for a long time. And what can the federal government do in addition, not just executive orders, but to increase production? But do you guys in your business, do you want more production? Because wouldn't that also drive down the price? So how do you reconcile that? More exploration, more production with the price of oil? Because if it goes down too low, then there's no incentive for you guys to keep exploring.
Well, it's a really interesting topic because, as much as President Trump would like lower oil prices, the reality is that oil prices are really at a historic low when really adjusted for inflation. So if you factor in sort of the shale boom that's allowed us to become producers of 13 million barrels a day or so of energy, that was driven at really higher prices to today. There's been about $20 of inflation built into oil prices. So oil near $60 is really oil near $40 going back 20 years. So, that's a really important thing to understand. The other really important thing to understand is that, most of the oil produced in this country is now shale. And shale it's not what you sort of imagine on television, where we drill a well and you see a gusher of oil and you walk away for 30 years and you keep producing that oil at the same rate. Shale is really a resource of very high decline. So we produce about 60% of the reserves from a shale well in the first 3 years of production with a hyperbolic decline. So just the effort to maintain production flat is a real huge challenge in the United States. And, we're quickly running out of economic drilling locations to do that at these types of prices. So the idea that we can really create, a lasting, tenable American energy independence for the next 50 years at $60 or less oil is really not correct. So we're really in a battle with OPEC, and OPEC still holds a lot of cards around total global production. But I and everyone in this industry have been trying to predict oil prices for as long as I can remember. And the one thing I know for a fact is we're always wrong. We've always been wrong in predicting. But economics, as you point out, have a way to right production. Low oil prices create high oil prices because people, stop producing as much oil.
Edward Kovacic, thank you so much. Oilfacts.com. We need to dominate the world with energy. We should be drilling more, we should be exporting more, and we should be exploring more if we want to dominate the AI space. And we have to refute all these lies. That's why I want people to check out oilfacts.com. The global warming, environmental, pollutes your drinking water. It's all a bunch of BS. Oilfacts.com. Edward, thank you so much. Second hour coming up.